Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Divine Data. Today, I am sat with a very special cosmic being who prefers to go by no name, but is known as Cosmic Byron. How are you today?
I am doing amazing. First of all, let me say thank you for allowing me in your space and having me here. I'm excited about this opportunity and honored for sure.
Absolutely. It's an honor both ways. You're, as I said, incredible creature. Was a silent mentor of mine via Instagram, and we were just getting into that before we pressed record, and we decided it was actually a pretty good story. So I wanted to start there with Cosmic Byron has been posting on Instagram. How long have you had that account?
So the interesting part is before Cosmic Byron, when I wrote my first book a couple years ago, The Power of Adversity, that was the actual name of my IG. And it was dedicated strictly to that book, posting different content from that book. And I was like, you know what? I want to work on another book. So how am I going to do this? I don't want multiple accounts. Let me just put an umbrella at the top, which is going to be the Cosmic Byron, and just put the actual work of art underneath that. So I'm going to say at least about 5 to 6 years. Sheesh. Wow. Yeah, like 5 to 6 years.
That's pretty epic. Yeah, I feel like I've seen you mostly as Cosmic Byron. And I was explaining to him that I would see his posts for like 2-3 years, and almost every day was consistently like, he's channeling what I'm going through, guys. Like, read this. This is incredible. Like, he's so on point always. Like, and it was always these like divine masculine, divine feminine perspectives that always hit home, always resonated.
Damn, that's the moment when I was going through it. The tornadoes were going on, because here I am. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this flow just came in real quick.
Strictly
a straight tornado, because here I was like in this realm of pure masculinity that I talked about it in one of my YouTube videos of be tough, be rugged, be rigid, be this audacious, heroic type individual, and just stick with that. But on the other side, like my conscience kept pulling me to like, no, be soft, be flexible, be vulnerable, like tap into these superpowers that you are neglecting, these elements that are literally calling you. So a little bit by little bit, one of those elements jump in, and all these forces just take it and just like spin it around. And once I end up getting that full tornado, that vortex going, it was like, this is home. This is balance. So like during that moment, that's when I kept trying to tap into that femininity and not suppress, but in a sense, like stray away from that masculinity. So that's the moment when I was going through, when you see those different perspectives. So yeah.
Yeah, and it was beautiful, because it's like during this very chaotic time on the planet, you know, everyone's saying that right now is the rise of the divine feminine, but this has been like brewing and occurring. It's not something that like just appeared out of nowhere. So to be experiencing it, you know, as divine feminine archetype, even more so as a woman myself, and then seeing it come from, you know, some dude on the internet that I'd never met that like was just on point with all the things, all the throws in my life, all the good stuff in my life, like all of it. It was so poignant. And it was almost as if I got to this point in my own life and my own career to where after years of sharing your stuff on Instagram and not expecting any actual interaction with you, like, because that's just what we do on Instagram. We share people's stuff that we like. Right. He messaged me out of the blue and was like, do you feel that buzzing in your third eye? And I was like, yeah. Who are you? What's happening?
Who's this weird guy talking about?
Who's this weird guy? And then he started talking about the book that I had to write. And I was like, yeah, I know, but how do you know I have to write a book? And it became this
downloads.
Like, yeah. And we had this like very divine, like 3-week, almost boot camp that you put me through that, you know, ended in me finishing this children's book. And it's still not yet to be published, but it will be, and it needs to be illustrated. But the book is I finished writing
That's
it.
the important part.
And you were of witness to that. You became my like accountability partner through that. And it was like this very divine connection that like is how we should be interacting on a human basis. Like if we feel that pull, that energetic pull to share that knowledge or share that wisdom or to help someone like come into their magic, that's what we should be doing, right? And also, I don't know, maybe you want to speak to a little bit of your side of the experience.
It was just interesting to see and feel that particular energy radiating from you. And it was more so of just do it. Just surrender to what source intuition from the collective is pushing you towards. And I just surrendered and went, messaged, and immediately the forces combined. So at that moment, I knew that what I was doing was pure source. And just the idea, the concepts that you started spitting out, spewing out about the particular book, I was like, yeah, this has been in the brewing. This concept, this is ready for the world. This is ready for the universe. The universe is ready to receive it. Only thing it needs to do is just channel straight from you. And that's what you did. So I'm grateful for it.
I'm grateful too. And that's, yeah, it was such a beautiful thing too. And it also helped like break that glass ceiling and the hierarchical structure that, like, of course I'm living and breathing and feeling into it and expressing and trying to help inspire 5D living. I don't want to say teach it even, but inspire it by doing it myself. But there's still stuff that keeps me stuck in some 3D thinking.
Same.
And having you come there and be like, nope, this is like, you're supposed to do this. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I thought I was like unseen kind of thing. This like person that just liked Cosmic Byron quotes and put it on my story. But then I was like, yo, bro, he like really sees me, and that like there is purpose to this thing inside me. And oh crap, wow, okay, like,
But the
and it's
beautiful
also
part about that is that you already knew that. That's the beautiful part about it. And just like that little nudge, that conscious nudge or that conscious awakening within you, it doesn't validate you from my exponent, but what it does is, you know what? This is real. I need to trust this. So now going forward, those little elements, those little nudges at your consciousness, you know what's up. You know what to do. And that was the beautiful part about it, because it was instantly like that light bulb just went off. And that's how I knew, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I surrendered in that moment, So that was the beautiful unfolding, for real.
Yeah. And I thank you so much for it, truly. And I thank myself so much, because I know it's all within me, but like, really, it's awesome to be able to, I've seen that like complete veil lifted, like, no, we're all in this together, same team, unification, we've got this. And it is also such a telling of how much healing I really did do to like vibrate that high, so that someone through the interwebs is like, zoom, boom, like
oh, hell yeah.
And it makes me also feel a lot less crazy, just saying, because I know that there's probably people who are going to listen to this and be like, oh, this is awesome, like woo woo, like, but I'm like, no, that's not real like
all in divine timing. Hell, I'll take the label crazy. I'll take it. I mean, because I put it like this: the magnitude in which we are capable and able to manifest, if that's what's called crazy, shit, sign me up. Let me sign the petition. I'll be crazy.
Yeah.
All it is just humanly labels from a 3D realm, and it's so much more than that. It's only one realm of dimension from one particular perspective or from a demographic. 5D, baby.
5D.
So call me crazy. Sign me up.
I'm a crazy.
Oh man.
Now let's redefine the word crazy. Let's take back ownership of that if we're gonna be labeled it, because I think that the truth is that we are like stepping into that new paradigm. So once was woo woo will be what we consider the word normal or whatever is, because I really do believe, and I think I've said this on other episodes, but like I'm going to keep repeating it. Sorry to anyone who listens to all of them, but I do believe that telepathy and energy are going to be like our highest forms of currency and communication in the coming years. And that it's already been that, and it always has been that. We just have been living in a false sense of reality. Because we have like this monopoly money and like,
the economics, the representation of like the anatomy, like like you said, I agree with that. But now just that shift is spreading out. It is awakening in like just a magnitude of individuals more and more and more and more and more. And that's why I'm so adamant on putting that particular type of content out, because especially having a platform, I want to penetrate in the most effective spiritual manner. You know, so with that whole, I'm glad you said that, because that is the currency. It's just now many of us, I don't want to exclude myself, but many of us are definitely waking up to that particular facet of our existence.
Absolutely. And it's I've said it before, you know, it doesn't matter how much healing you've done or how woke you think you might be, like there is still more stuff to wake up to, like constantly. Like and
I
there's
put a
still
post up the other day saying, like, please do not allow these analytic numbers to fool you. Like, the shit that I post is stuff that I either went through, going through, observed. Like, none of this is perfection on my end. And don't be fooled by the other influences as well. Like, we got immense work to do, immense levels of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, I hold myself back every day. We were even talking about it before we started recording about like I have like a back stock of episodes with like remarkable people, remarkable human beings who are like willing to market for me when I put the episode out, and they're like, "Where's the episode? Where's the episode, sister?" But I'm like, there's resistance because there's still disbelief of worthiness. At times, and then there's times where I'm like full goddess, full queenlyhood, where I'm like
I
excuse me,
got this.
no. And I know that I can manifest whatever I want into my reality.
You
And
truly just stepped into character too. Put the shoulder forward, you came out for it. I was like, whoa, is she coming through the screen? Hold up. Hell yeah, get it, queen. I see you. Nah, for
no,
real.
it's a real thing though. There's it is the realness of being human, you know. Otherwise I don't think we would be here in this flesh suit if we weren't meant to be having all of these dynamic experiences. And I think that the dynamic experiences get like, it's like you go through these initiations to, at some point they're like less and less painful, and they're actually like really beautiful, even if they're a bit heavy, and you get to just move through it in a really different appreciation of each lesson and initiation. And I definitely do feel more in my goddess than normal,
Right.
but it is still, there's, you know, we're living in this time, and this time is moving through some of like the densest of energies, and that is really painful for people. And as empathetic or empathic people, like even when my shield's up, I feel shit, you know, like I'm a
And
human.
we gotta remember that the shields only cover so much of this surface area. On the sides of them, on the bottom, on the top of them, that shit comes all around and comes through and hits us exactly how it's intended to hit us. Put them damn shields down, man. What you got them shields up for? Feel every ounce of it. Every ounce. Allow the universe to rip you the fuck apart, to shred you to pieces, and build you back up. Just trust the process. Let go and trust the process.
Oh,
Like, I
I'm
used
trying to
to be
shield up
so
against like everybody else's stuff because I already do surrender to so much of mine. And there is so much of everybody else's I want to feel and understand. But I
right.
think to some extent, let's not use the word shield. I like maybe filter, like filter.
Okay.
Be
Okay.
able to like,
Just
then
changed
can
my whole perspective.
transmute. Like, cause then it can come through me, but like it gets like cleaned,
Got you.
you know, and we transmute. Because yeah, maybe shield is wrong, because shield actually reminds me that it could bounce off the shield and get sent back towards the people and then cause them more pain or more whatever. You know, I don't want that. I don't want anything bouncing off of me. We need to be transmuting that shit into light.
Agreed. I hear that.
So I want to hear a little bit about your books, because I actually am an avid Instagram fan, but I don't know anything about your books, and I don't know if my followers do. So I want to hear about The Power of Adversity. You have the Dose of Self-Love,
A dose of self-love. So
and you're writing a new one, which is I Am She.
Oh, I Am She. That one, I just got the book cover, not the digitized form, but I got the book cover yesterday. It's basically, let me see if I can show you real quick. It's basically a woman represented with her eyes closed and her third eye open. So you see that?
Oh, so beautiful.
Representing the awakening. So these, A Dose of Self-Love is a book basically dedicated to my daughter, just in case I understand like this existential realm of existence. I'm not going to be here, especially in this vessel form, forever. So if I'm not, I have something dedicated to my daughter that would still give a dose of self-love to her. Like, let's say, let's start with me. Growing up, I wasn't taught the idea or the concepts, the paradigm surrounding love yourself, right? Like, yeah, I was taken care of, great, amazing childhood, but again, being able to identify with my emotions, being able to understand why I'm feeling a particular way, sit with that emotion and transmute that and augment that into something greater. Those weren't concepts that were taught. I'm not blaming or anything in that nature, because I understand that my particular parents weren't taught that growing up. And it's just a cycle. So now becoming conscious of that, I needed to implement something just in case I'm not here for my daughter to be able to experience, to have healthy dialogues with herself, despite whatever traumatic event that she experiences. She needs to know that it all resonates from a place within. How she views that particular circumstance comes from how she views internally. So I need to fill the foundation with love. If she doesn't have that cup that has even the ounce of love in there, what's going to come out? So I need her to understand that despite what she goes through, despite what comes her way, love yourself by all means. So like that was the whole concept. It's written in poetry format, and it also discusses chakras, so she can begin to understand in a very understandable way of how her energy centers operate. So I just had to put that book together and just go ahead and put that out immediately. So that one is freaking beautiful. Let me read a particular one of the quotes from it. So for instance, the caterpillar in you has reached the end of its journey. You've crawled a considerable amount. As beautiful as the perceived end result, there is a process of undergoing metamorphosis to even be considered before the accessibility of your wings is available. Refrain from labels that may cloud or detour the benefit of such process. After grounded in a safe environment, access these shadows, isolate, shed layers, and begin to digest ineffective aspects of the old self. Emerge in celebration to the commencement of this moment. Spread your wings, admire this victory of overcoming the self, and it is now time to fly. So like something as simple as that, we always look at the end result. I want to be happy, or I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when this comes into my life. No, let's stop right now. Let's even enjoy the metamorphosis process. Let's enjoy, like they say that is one of the most painful experiences for an insect to ever go through. Like just imagine ripping all your skin off as a human in this vessel. So just imagine like the sensations that particular butterfly / caterpillar is experiencing in that moment. So again, like it just reflects back to enjoy the process that you're currently in, despite. Like stop with that destination happiness and be happy now. And again, that comes from perspective of having self-love towards yourself. I'm not good enough, or I won't be happy because I don't have this car, or I don't have this amount of money, this amount of followers, I don't look like that. No, come back, love the self, and enjoy that particular moment. So that's what that book is about.
And that's where the magic comes from, is that self-love. And that's so beautiful. That's such an amazing soul-driven task to,
so what about you? Like, were you brought up with concepts surrounding self-love?
Absolutely not.
No. Like what kind of like briefly discuss, like what was your journey like discovering self-love?
I didn't really learn about like even the concept of self-love before I went on like a spiritual journey to become a yoga teacher. Like even in yoga classes, I mean, I understood it, but like I didn't understand it. I thought I loved myself, but I didn't know what it really took to truly love yourself and set boundaries for yourself. So I didn't have any of that.
I was at the surface level with it. I knew the two words, self-love. I knew the two words, like comprehensible, like I knew them. But when it came down to the events coming into my life, that's when it was like that self-talk did not correlate or align with those two words, self-love.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I had to do this. That's why I had to do the shadow work.
Yeah, I mean, I've doing it since I was a kid, you know, like knowing, because I had my mom who's extremely abusive and not there for me. And I got through all of that by just like loving myself. But then I forgot those tools that I had when I was a kid, because then society and all of that like gets in the way. You don't have the opportunity to just like go play in your imagination and be in yourself.
Because you're
Surviving. And so it did take into like my 20s. And it's so interesting because that's what, you know, the book that we were talking about before that I'm writing, it's to help teach children like unity consciousness and unconditional love, and not teach them, let them know that it is okay,
right,
and then have them hold on to that magic.
sure.
Because I didn't have it. I didn't have that, and I had to come back to that. And I'm very much so my like inner child now. Like I let her like live vicariously through me now.
And it's so vivid, you can't even hide it, and don't ever hide it. You know, it's so vivid, but it's a beautiful expression, and it shows and represents the authentic you. Like I was telling you earlier, don't ever diminish that light. You know,
Thank you.
shine bright,
Thank
queen.
you. Hell yeah. I mean, like, I like to keep it weird, man. Like, I just got hired, or not even hired, because it's like for Burning Man, it's all inclusive, co-creative thing. But like, I am working with a team where I did get hired that is doing a camp at Burning Man. And it's like, I run around wanting my life to be a music festival since I was 16, and I'm doing it. Like, it's just like really like feeding that inner child and finding all of those things and realizing, holy crap, like I said that when I was a kid. Now I'm doing it, and now it's happening.
Manifesting, baby.
Coming into a fruition left and right. I love it. So what about power of adversity? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So this little yellow book was my beginner's guide to understanding adversity, challenges, setbacks, and the way that we perceive them. So this one is more based in like psychology. The other one was based in just poetry. So the power of adversity, because I have like a neuroscience and psychology background from neuroscientists, and that one was understanding me, understanding like the way I wanted to understand why I am the way I am, how I got the way I am, and why I operate this way so heavily. And it based back all to the conditioning, all to the programming, cognitive programming, operant conditioning, like all those elements. Why did my parents give me up for adoption, my biological parents? So like to sit with the child, or like to have a child understand that, or let me rewind, to tell a child that and a child not particularly understand that, like imagine what festers in that child's mind. Like feelings of inferiority complex quickly kick in. I'm not good enough. Man, I wish I was this, because then they possibly would have loved me. But the dope part about it is that my adoptive mother told me the concept about adoption before I even knew how to pronounce the word. So my experience was a bit different. But once I started conducting interviews with other adoptees, I quickly learned how this particular mindset of inferiority was so prevalent, and why they operate within this 3D realm the way that they do. They operate from a lower level functioning level because of what's so heavy up here, which this represents the inferiority, the destitute of self-worth. It weighs heavy and it pushes them down emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. It just is heavy on them. So I needed to find a way that channeling through me, a way to alleviate that and liberate this self. So I just took myself on a journey from childhood all the way up until like I entered into the military, and all that brought up these like just destitutes of feelings, just emotions that I've suppressed, just all these different elements that needed to come back out surface level and be dealt with. So I did the necessary shadow work, not just for myself, but for the collective. I will be honest, initially I did it for me. Initially, the book was to just understand me. But once I got to the end and started realizing, wow, this is truly going to impact the collective. So I needed to put it in book format. I researched how to self-publish and how to get it out immediately. And as soon as I did, just took off. Because again, it's needed. It's not talked about. Like, for instance, the power of adversity. And the subtitle is "The Setbacks of Life Are Only Setups for Extraordinary Comebacks." Like, that's something that needs to be ingrained into our consciousness, our DNA. Like, our DNA and RNA needs to transcribe that when we are born. Like, it needs to know, like, if I experience something traumatic, it's only a setup for something bigger. And I don't care what the setback is. Like, I know I get pushback when I talk about like more extreme cases of adversity, but it's still in the same realm of adversity, challenges, and setbacks. So again, like, if we don't process it, if we don't sit with it and deal with it, I'm not saying it's going to be an overnight success. That's the furthest thing that I'm trying to convey here, but it's worth interacting with. It's worth understanding our psychology around these adversities, around these challenges, and how and why we operate the way that we do. And that's what that book sheds lights on.
Amazing. It's beautiful. I am like so appreciative of your impetus to just get that out there and share it with the world. And you continue to do so on a daily basis. It's such an inspiration for someone like me, because I do feel I have stuff to share as well. So you're really, I'm doing it, but it's just like, you're an inspiration to continue doing it and to really do it on a grander scale. And we're going to have to talk about that self-publishing journey you went on, because
let's do it.
I need to learn a little bit about that stuff.
I'm ready.
Totally. That can be off air though. We don't need to bore people with that. And then, so I Am She. Can we know a little bit about it more than what you showed us? I
Am She is me engaging with that feminine side of my existence. I was telling you about the whole tornado aspect. I Am She. Like, males, if you're listening, please understand that you have a feminine side inside of you, and it's not weird. Don't suppress that. Please bring that to surface level and interact with it. It's like having a superpower. Okay, let's start here. Masculinity, femininity. You have a superpower here with the masculinity, but just imagine combining two forces of superpowers together and creating the ultimate superpower. It's like having a genie in the bottle. You rub the genie, all your wishes come true. But that disconnect, you feel the disconnect because you feel that other power within you begging to come to surface level. And that's what I had to do with I Am She. I had to dig within this masculinity aspect of myself and find that femininity and engage with it, understand it, become it, feel the sensations, feel the emotions, bring that inner child out that was crying to come to surface level. And that's what I Am She represents from a male perspective, channeling that feminine energy. And that's what that is. And man, that book is amazing. From the cover,
I feel tears welling up in my eyes right now because it's so necessary. It is so necessary for men on this planet right now, especially the ones who are suppressing it, in denial of it, run away from it. I dated a man recently who, like, he's a public figure and he is divinely sensitive in a one-on-one situation and speaks in almost like a baby voice.
He gets in public and puts it.
But in public, he's like manly man. There's no softness allowed there. There's silliness and immaturity and all of that, but there's no showing the feminine. And it's not just soft. Feminine isn't soft either. There's wisdom and flow and creativity that comes from all of
life,
it.
Sustainability, life force, energy. Like, that's
intuition.
Goodness, like, it makes me ball my fist up because and I get it, because we aren't taught it from a societal standpoint of the true power that feminine energy represents. It's life sustaining. What the hell would the masculinity be without the feminine energy? So that's why I get passionate with it. That's why I had to understand it, because like, even with my sacral chakra, understanding that life force energy that resides within there, I had to dig to the depths of that, and my root chakra to ground myself, to trust myself to be able to produce this particular type of project and not care about the external opinions that others will formulate, But that's why it just represents, and that's why it was so important for me to get this type of project out into the collective, into the masses. And I'm so glad that so many males are on me about it. Like, please put it out. I want to read it. I don't care if it's titled I Am She. I don't care if it has a woman picture on there. That woman represents me. And I'm like, bro, you get it. You get it, bro. Because all these features, these phenotype features, man, that shit means nothing. That's just from a biological standpoint. Like, let's talk spiritually, bro. That's where I'm at. Spiritual level. Like, yes, this 3D is dope, but that 4D and that 5D, bro, it's everything, man.
And the 3D ain't that dope. It just ain't that dope. It's just not. It's just not. And most of these dudes are miserable human beings.
They are.
Deep down, they are miserable human beings, and they want to act like they're like, everything's fine, but they're not. They're not fine. They're lonely. They're missing the true purpose of life, and they know that. Deep
And
down
why I get it so much is because I lived it, the perfect pretender. And that's all I was, a perfect pretender, bro.
Yeah.
I get out in public, I'm a completely different way. I get back behind closed doors, different way. And you know when energy is trying to surface. You know when it's trying to come up for air. Just allow it. And I promise you, like, the moment that you truly embody it and step into it, and it awakens within you, and you become it, you'll be grateful, for sure. So males,
Absolutely.
let's go, man. For real.
And growing pains are painful. That's why they're called growing pains. So it's like understandable, and you need to take it slow, and you want to cry it out. But like I really the tears welled up in my eyes because I was hosting a party the other night, and this male, dominant featured a human came into the space. It was mostly women, and he didn't want to turn his camera on, and he felt ashamed. And we were like, you are welcome here, because if you feel you should be here, if you feel you've activated your feminine, and that you feel comfortable in this space, and you want to honor your feminine by being here, you need to be here with us. And he cried because it was so hard to like be someone who comes off as so masculine in the world, but is so in tune with his feminine, because there are just not enough men out there doing it, normalizing it, destigmatizing it. And I'm grateful for you as a person with a platform, as a person, as a public figure, an author, a channel, an inspiration, whatever you want to consider yourself as. I see you as many things. I even consider you one of my mentors, whether you knew it or not. You have a mentee.
You are funny. But I truly think, like, I'll speak from my perspective. I think that it was more of, it makes you less of a man. And that was the biggest challenge. Like, I didn't want to be seen as a lesser male. So him crying was a breakthrough. Him crying was a release. Him crying was that shedding. And that is the portal opening up for his transformation. So like the fact that he even went there, I'm glad that he did that, And even the concept, I was watching a movie the other day, I can't recall the name, but crying is associated like with being weak. Like, and that was like the premise of the movie, but like, man, I can't recall the movie. But it was just a beautiful experience of like the mother aiding the boy through his emotions. Him closing his eyes and the mother putting both hands on the heart and just asking the son to please tell me what you feel. And the son could not even mention he couldn't even utter a word. And she was like, it's okay, just feel it. So he just began to pour more and more and more out. And you can just tell, like, when he woke up, first thing he did was hug her and say, Mom, I love you. And I want to explore more of that. And those are the type of experiences that we don't create space for within young males. So they grow up with this testosterone heavy built anatomy, and you can see why there's so much anger, there's so much frustration, the abuse, like they weren't able to process the abuse, they weren't able to process molestation, like all these different elements that they now have to channel and embody within, they aren't able to release that. So again, like tapping into that nurturing side, being able to be vulnerable, be soft, and be like this life-sustaining energy, it's not normative. And I truly feel like that shift needs to be implemented in our society as a normative-based upbringing. So I had to write it.
Thank you. Thank you for doing it. You know, I'm seeing more and more men's circles popping up, like how we do women's circles and goddess circles. And I really also want to start integrating, you know, unisex circles that we get to just, because I think that we also as women need to honor our masculine side. It's the balance. Right now, specifically on the planet, we are seeing like a much bigger rise of the divine feminine because she's been stifled for so long, especially in men. But women as well, you know, we've been slaves, we've been unequal rights, all of those things. But I don't even want to get into all of that. That's a whole other episode.
I agree, but like I get where you're going. I get it, and I see it. It's so vivid. It's so vivid. But again, like I feel that uprising. I feel that awakening from the collective being unfolded, and I'm proud and honored to be in the presence of it. You know, so
Yeah, and being, you know, an authentic leader in that rising of it, because you wouldn't feel such an impetus to get that information out. You would just be doing the work, right? But you're a soul that's here that is leading. And I created this whole series on authentic leadership because I've been a part of some like anarchists and voluntarists and free society, you know, communities before, where the word leader often gets like this really bad rep, like really bad connotations to it, almost next to like Führer, and they want to control you. And I see, no, like leaders are people who inspire change by speaking and embodying their highest truths.
right.
And that's like what we're here doing. And we're all in essence leaders, right?
Sure.
And we can all be each other's teachers and students. There is just people in the collective at this present moment who are putting this really necessary work out. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for being a part of this divine cosmic council of human beings on this planet that are here helping, and helping by doing their own personal work, and then just sharing that journey and sharing their truth and their authenticity. And I think that we're stepping into a time where we get to see like how big and wide and expansive we get to really be as human beings. You show me that every day, man. I'm like, here, just thank you. Inspired always.
Thank you. Thank you for the reception. And that's the biggest part. Like it's a mutual, how do you want to say it? Like that circle is just continuous. Like it's the idea. What's truly amazing is that the separation, like we understand it's an illusion. So it's you through me, but actually it's us, you know? So like that I is truly us, and we just can continue to evolve in energy.
Totally. And it's funny because like my story of how I even found you is like, I just see something posted on someone else's story years ago. I'm like, I want this. So I want to start following this. I start following it. And it was that us thing, you know, there was no Byron Wesley. There was no Cosmic Byron. It was just these words that I was like, yo, did he go into my journal last night? What the F?
What, the pink one?
Yep, that was it. I knew it.
Oh.
But it's like, it's great because it really was like, there wasn't anything there. And then I think there was like, oh yeah, illusion pop for a second when you messaged me, but then saying that like I had to write a book, and I was like back to oneness immediately. Cause it's like, oh, like when you were just like reading all of his words and feeling like this was mine, because it's all of ours.
Right.
It's all of ours. It's the collectives. And that's another thing too, is I definitely think credit where it's due and all of that. And I don't think anybody should plagiarize anybody exactly word for word, but I often see people get really like ego-y and beefed up about stuff when people aren't often always crediting in the right way or doing this and doing that. I'm like, is it really yours though? Because I think it's ours. Like, it's all of ours. And like, no, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, because I don't want people to go out there,
but that's where
it's promoting plagiarism.
But it's coming from that 3D realm. Like none of that stuff exists in these other dimensions. So like that 3D realm of this belongs to me, that 3D world of I control this, I own this, possessionist type thinking or paradigms, like that's where it's operating from. And again, like, and I understand like the different dimensions, how to navigate each. And I want, like you were saying, like I want to respect the individual who feels like they created this particular whatever it is that they manifested or created. Like I I'll feed into that and give the credit and stuff. Like, again, I'm not promoting plagiarism, but none of this is ours, man. Like the possessiveness, that's not what we represent, you know? So I get what you're saying.
Exactly. And that's such an interesting part of this journey too, is I think that's also what's kept me from like really promoting myself as much as like I've been willing to promote other companies. Cause I'm like, this ain't about me. Like I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo too. Like I fucking love attention. Don't get me wrong. I'm good at being the center of attention. It makes sense that like my soul is like ought to be on some talk series or writing books or like out there and doing stuff in the public like that. It makes sense. But at the same time, there's part of my soul that's also just like, oh my God, somebody else doing it. Look, someone else doing it. Yay. Look at that. We all doing it. You know, it's not about me. And like, there's no reason to push me now. And if I'm supposed to have some big divine rise and fame or some crap, then it's going to happen. It's going to happen in its own divine timing. I was telling him before, I'm going to create my own algorithm, you know, like I can't, you know, I want to try. I shouldn't say I can't do anything. I want to try to put out consistent content every single day, but it's just not feasible or realistic for me currently. If I could outsource a bunch of stuff, maybe I'd have more time, but at this present moment,
I think that might be the route, that outsourcing route, you know?
Yeah. And creating content that I can like just post later on, but like I need more space in my life and I feel okay with where I'm at. And I think that I'm only saying this for like listeners who's, you know, the people who are vying to get somewhere, when it, like you were saying, it is just the journey, and it is a process of metamorphosis.
Sure.
And it isn't the most comfortable, but we can make it easier by taking the path of, sorry, dog, by taking the path of like least resistance. I think he wants to go outside.
Okay. The little army back there, man.
They're cute. I love watching your stories with your daughter. She's amazing.
My little queen.
She's a magic one for sure.
But, and that's what that book for too, man. Dose of self-love. It's so funny, like seeing her pick, like out of all her, you can't see her libraries, but out of all her books, she always grabs a dose of self-love. And I'm like, just keep doing that. Because I promise, once you're able to read and comprehend, that's the book I want you to read, how you keep grabbing it. So, hell yeah.
She knows. That's amazing.
All right, hit
incredible. Well, I'd love for everybody to be able to find.
One more time, I couldn't do it. Okay.
All right. Well, let's keep it authentic. Like, I don't know. Maybe Jonas does not need to edit out all of those little bits. We'll see what happens when it comes out. And, you know, you were thanking me for being expressive and emotive before. And I think that's what it's all about, you know, like, I don't want to come out here robotic. I don't want to act like I was popped out the uterus, a wholly healed human being. I'm no messiah, you know, and I just really appreciate that raw authenticity, the ability that you had to share your process that you were going through Cosmic Byron, through those posts, you know, the tweets and the Instagrams and all of the things like that, and then to put out those books and that kind of magic truly is incredible and an inspiration, what we are all here to do. I was telling you, I got like a TikTok account and I'm just blown away by seeing like how easy it is to really reach the masses.
Right.
You know, their algorithm is crazy different. And I'm watching videos of people with 55 million followers on there for dancing.
Right from their homes. Like imagine that multiplied with a message. Right from your home, from your couch, from your bed. Like the level of positivity that can be just like penetrated straight through the collective from your cellular device, man. So like it's what we are creating from this 3D realm is just truly mind-blowing. Like the possibilities that we have. And I'm not just saying like, oh, this whole world is just like love, light, and all the glory. Like I know there are other elements for us to tap into. It's all, again, like it all goes back to that oneness, but the idea the possibility for us to be able to effectively raise consciousness levels. Like when these, because all they are apparatuses. Like people give them such a bad negativetation and all this stuff when it comes to like cell phones. It's an apparatus, it's a tool. It's able for us to be able to communicate with one another. Now the message in which we communicate is what can be the problem. You know, so that's where the true problem comes from.
Absolutely. And like I'm really finding it this magical space that we can use to use light. And look, I think that there's so much that we can take from like the mainstream media and what they've done to like infiltrate the subconscious of people's minds, but for healthy things.
Right.
For our evolution and all of that. And I want to try and tap into those realms as well, because if we can make healing trendier than it already is, because it's pretty trendy,
Yeah,
it's getting up there. But if we can make that like the niche, the thing that everybody does, you know, instead of seeing everybody with a Starbucks coffee in their hand, that kind of thing, you know, I want to see healing to be on every corner of every city, you know,
like a gas station.
Yeah, exactly. Like and it's not competition. We just need that because we got a lot of human beings trying to do some healing and like positivity things and like.
Right. They need that support, man. It's vital. I totally agree.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like we could talk for ages, but my dear, we can't. You've got a family to get back to. I've got a life to get back to off of this screen. Where can we find you besides at Cosmic Byron on Instagram? Can you give us a website to go to, some other stuff?
cosmicbyron.com is the website. Again, the IG, the Twitter, the Snapchat, all Cosmic Byron. But the website, it's up, it's running. If you want to purchase and support some of the projects that I've put out, I'm also working on these cosmic cards. And this edition is called the Shift Edition. There'll be a love edition, a healing edition, and a gratitude edition also coming out. So cosmicbyron.com, come talk to me. Leave me a message. I'll write back. Let's go.
Awesome. I'm going to put everything in the episode description as well. Pleasure having you here, sir. Go have an awesome day. And
honor. Thank you again.
When is I Am She coming out? When is
I Am She's going to come out by, I want to say next week, Friday, August 21st.
August 21st. All right. We'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much, Byron. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.